What's going on YouTube? It's your boy W Warman. When it comes to Games Workshop or Warhammer 40k, they've been having a very interesting year to say the least. Because when we come over here, we have to remember that Games Workshop decided to go full throttle with bastardizing the lore of Warhammer 40k, all for the sake of modern day gender ideology and intersectional feminism, by overtly gaslighting the public and saying that there was always female Adeptuscustodes when there was never any to begin with. Games Workshop introduced new female Adeptus Custodian to Warhammer 40k and asserts Custodes can be any gender. Even though for decades at this point, they weren't that. We could come over here to Grums, in which they openly say that the Custodes were the sons of Terra, were the sons of the noble houses of Terra. They were always men. They were always the males. That's how they were always from the get-go. They were specifically made by the Emperor. They were specifically designed by him. They have very strong abilities that the Emperor had forced them to have. And then on top of that, if you wanted a female Adeptus Custode, why would you even think to have that? Because guess what? You already have the Sisters of Silence. They were the female counterparts to the Adeptus Custodes. They would always go out into battle with the Adeptus Custodes. It made more sense for you to just do stuff with like the Sisters of Silence and interact with them over the Adeptus Custodes. But no, Games Workshop wanted to do this. Games Workshop desired this. And they went so far as to even gaslight their audience, gaslight the people to say that they were always there. It was always a thing. It was consistently a reality. Since the first of the 10,000 were created, there have always been female custodians. And this is what people really harped on. This is what people really latched on. It wasn't just the blatant lore change. It was the blatant disrespect to the audience and the gaslighting from Games Workshop. That's what people had the major issue with. That's what people called out, was this disrespect that they were showing to the audience as a whole. Well, since then, we ended up having multiple people say that they were canceling their subscriptions. They were boycotting the franchise. They were boycotting Games Workshop as a whole because they were done with the mistreatment. They were done being treated like garbage by this company. We also famously saw Games Workshop CFO sell 2/3 of her shares amid growing Warhammer boycott. Now, this was a weird thing. This was an interesting thing because the CFO came out and sold off the vast majority of her shares, only keeping a handful just before stepping down, and it was starting to look like maybe the boycott was actually having a financial effect on it. Well, we now have yet another shakeup for Games Workshop, and more proof that Games Workshop is in a terrible time. Because we come over here, multiple stores announce their discontinuation of Games Workshop and Warhammer 40k products. Now, why is this going on? It's not just because of the female Adeptus Custodes and the amount of people refusing to purchase the products from now on. No, it's also Games Workshop is no longer communicating with people and is refusing to actually interact with stores around the world. From Paradise Games, we've had made the decision to pull out of Games Workshop / Warhammer. All models are 35% off. They will continue to be discounted until they are all gone. We will continue to carry the Citadel paint line. This is just one example, but we have another example that gets a little bit deeper into all this from RIW Hobbies. Good evening, all. A quick announcement. The straw has broken the Space Marine back. I hadn't heard from Games Workshop rep in 3 weeks. He blamed it on my cell phone. I've had the same number for 30 plus years. He called the store the second week I called back immediately within 2 minutes and left a voicemail. All I cared about was my Christmas box set. We ordered a little over 12,000 and 40k armies. No return calls, no emails. He called me 2 days before they were scheduled to release, one of those days being Thanksgiving, to let me know we weren't getting any of our order. If I wanted, I could order them online at a different discount. They wouldn't arrive in time for their scheduled release, and he didn't know when they might possibly ship. He did blame me for the error. I know this not to be true. The day he claims he received my submission, I was in sunny Florida on vacation after reviewing all sales and space dedicated to the product. we have made the decision to drop all Games Workshop products. It's been a nightmare for years. Thursday, December 12th is our 12 days of Christmas sale. If you want to play, feel free to bring any army. We will be liquidating all existing stock at 40% off. Our going away party will begin at 6 p.m. and run until close. I know this is just 2 examples, but we're seeing more and more things like this. We're seeing more and more people come out here and decry how Games Workshop has been acting, decry how they've been treating them. Now we have stores coming out here saying, you know what? We're not carrying you anymore. We're not carrying your products anymore because you're treating us like dirt. You're not listening to us. You're refusing to answer our calls. You're giving us the runaround, making it our fault when we are the customer at this point. This store is a customer of Games Workshop, and instead of actually engaging and being kind to your customer base, you're blaming them for their screw-ups. You're blaming them and saying that they're the problem instead of accepting that you're not even answering your calls. You're not even getting through to them. They're having to fight just to get a hold of you. This is all around proof that Games Workshop is falling apart, and they're doing it to themselves, whether it's the disrespect given to the fans, whether it's this disrespect given to the stores. All of this is done by Games Workshop themselves. This has all been brought on by their own mistreatment of the audience, of the fans, and of the lore. That's it. Nothing else. And they're going to keep having this happen to them the more they keep acting like this. I don't know how Games Workshop is going to get out of this. We're already seeing their stock value constantly drop. We're already seeing people pull out. We're seeing Games Workshop have issue after issue after issue. And yeah, Space Marine 2 was a fun game. People really like that game. People like Dark Tide and people like Vermintide. People like your video games. People like this stuff. They want to give you money, but you treat them like dirt and like they don't matter to you. That's not how you do business. This is not how you actually engage with your audience, and it only breeds animosity and ultimately leads you down the path of bankruptcy. Take a look at Marvel and DC right now. They mistreated the fans. They mistreated the audience. They mistreated the customer base. And now look, Marvel's freaking subsidized by Disney and DC subsidized by Warner Brothers. Those 2 companies can't get out of their own way and have no real way to make money except by subsidies at this point. And we're quickly watching Games Workshop have to go down a similar route. But I'm going to leave it there. Let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video live, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.